Good, happy Sunday morning, February 9, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Sunday morning, so let's begin. First up, 3 injured in shooting in downtown Henniker. Police still searching for suspect. Henniker police responded to a reported shooting on Bridge Street around 2:50 a.m. Sunday. State and SWAT team members from other towns and cities responded to the scene. The area was evacuated as police searched for a possible suspect nearby. New England College was put on lockdown. The initial alert sent just before 3:30 a.m. told students there was a report of a person with a gun in Colby Hall. A second alert then told students to continue to shelter in place, that there was a report of a shooting off campus and that police were checking Colby Hall. About 90 minutes later, the school sent another alert that police were checking residence halls and students should remain in their rooms. According to officers, 3 people were injured in the shooting. All 3 were treated at a hospital and later released. New England College's Henniker main campus is located across the bridge from where police activity is centered. Officers were still searching for the suspect. Anyone with information about the shooting is asked to call New Hampshire State Police Major Crime Unit at 603-271-3636. One dead after apparent carbon monoxide exposure in Candia, officials say. Untimely death under investigation, according to officials. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Cherise Leclerc.
And we're actually here today to officially launch our campaign to win the great state of New Hampshire in 2020. The best is yet to come.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
You say right now this appears to just be a tragic accident. We're learning tonight that the victim was an elderly man. Now, firefighters who responded to that scene say there was an increased level of carbon monoxide in an enclosed detached garage near a generator that appeared to have recently been used. Thousands of Granite Staters lost power last night into today, including the neighborhood where that person was killed. Authorities say that death appears to be accidental, and now the state fire marshal is putting out critical information on the safe use of generators.
It's just so important that if folks are going to use a generator, first of all, to make sure if it's a portable generator that they have it at least 10 feet outside of any enclosure, their house, a garage, anything like that, and then they have a carbon monoxide alarm in their house or in the structure near them.
Now, an autopsy is expected to be completed on Monday. Live in Candia tonight, I'm Cherise Leclerc, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. House fire reported in Concord's south side. Firefighters were sent to Fillsbury Street Saturday for a report of a kitchen fire with possible extension. Take a look at this photo of the house fire. This is a photo from the scene from Newscam 603. House fire reported on Fillsbury Street. Concord firefighters were called to Fillsbury Street Saturday for a kitchen fire with possible extension. The fire was reported at 109 Fillsbury Street, a duplex at just before 8 p.m. All occupants were able to exit the building before firefighters arrived, according to fire dispatch. When firefighters arrived, they reported nothing showing from the building, but on the South Street side of the building, they found smoke coming from the house, according to scanner chatter. Firefighters extended a fire hose from a hydrant near the house to extinguish the fire, while calling into mutual aid from other communities to cover Concord. Candidates speak at McIntyre Shaheen 100 Club Dinner fundraiser event held at SNHU Arena in Manchester last night. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
Jen and Tom, this is still a party very much searching for unity, but also trying to pin down in that process which one of these folks is going to be the best one to take on President Donald Trump in November. A lot of strong showing for the candidates tonight as they brought their best games, a lot of their supporters, and try to survive the pressure cooker that is the final few days of the first in the nation primary.
Americans in small rural towns, in industrial communities, and yes, in pockets of our country's biggest cities, are tired of being reduced to a punchline by Washington politicians and ready for somebody to take their voice to the American Capitol.
We also know that this election is a patriotism check. It is a decency check on this president. And what unites us more than anything is that we know that the heart of America is bigger than the heart of the guy in the White House.
The character of this country is on the ballot. We must defeat Donald Trump. There is no choice. The man has not a shred of decency. So we have to stand up against bigotry, hatred. We have to stand up against the abuse of power.
We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society to rise to the real challenges of the 21st century, like climate change. We have to evolve in the way we see ourselves and our work and our value.
We have a right as Americans in the 21st century to affordable health care. We have a right to clean air and clean water. No one gets to poison you with PFAS. We have a right to an equal vote. They can't take it away from college students in New Hampshire anymore.
This is not a time to nibble around the edges of problems. This is not a time to be vague and elusive. This is a time to step up, and when we see a big problem, offer a big solution and fight for it.
Now is the time for us to come together to end the divisiveness, the racism, the lying, the homophobia, the xenophobia, the religious bigotry of the Trump administration.
We need to learn again to shout kindness, to shout compassion, to shout justice.
That is the answer to the question about the American character. That is who we are.
Our government is broken, and it's not by accident. It has been broken by the ideological ambition of the Freedom Caucus. It has been broken by the cynicism of Mitch McConnell.
The American people are sick and tired of how divided our country has become. They want a president who will actually be able to bring people together, to be able to heal the divides in this country.
A lot of harsh words here tonight for President Donald Trump, but he will be able to make his rebuttal in person in this very arena, which he's expected to fill in just 48 hours. Reporting live in Manchester, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Bernie Sanders holds town hall canvas launch events in New Hampshire. Sanders rallies with supporters and volunteers. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cherry.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
Senator Bernie Sanders crisscrossed the Granite State today with canvas launches in Manchester, Dover, and Concord. Staying true to his campaign's grassroots efforts, Sanders held 4 canvas launch events across the Granite State.
This is the most consequential election, certainly in the modern history of America.
His staff says volunteers knock on an average of more than 1 door per second.
While some of our opponents have super PACs and some of our opponents have dozens and dozens of billionaires contributing to their campaign, we are relying on the working people of this country.
Because I have a big van, like it fits 7 people, I am driving people out to knock on doors. So that's how I'm contributing to the campaign right now.
A strength of Sanders' following, young voters, a demographic many candidates struggle to attract.
Isn't it funny that Bernie is the one to get out the younger generation, but I do think he is. I think we need someone who's going to motivate us, and Bernie's the guy to get the job done.
Reporting in Concord, Mike Cherry, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Pete Buttigieg says his campaign is optimistic in final push for voters. Buttigieg crisscrosses New Hampshire Saturday. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
Pete Buttigieg bringing in star power with actor and activist Michael J. Fox at an event in Keene. Voters packed in to hear him speak. While optimistic, he says Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren may prove difficult to beat here.
We're going to have to earn every single vote. So we feel optimistic, but we're not going to leave anything to chance. We're going to make sure that we're engaging people with every minute that's available to us and really get that support from a state that famously thinks for itself.
He says the undeclared voters are critical in New Hampshire and will be a key to success on Tuesday.
You don't have to be a diehard Democrat to know that what's going on in this White House is wrong and to be looking for an alternative.
As for the criticism he received in Friday night's debate from multiple candidates who labeled him a newcomer,
I wasn't sure what to make of that. I'm certainly an outsider to Washington, but I'm no newcomer to service when it comes to governing and when it comes to serving the country. And proud to stack up my experience and explain why it's relevant to what the presidency today needs.
Buttigieg hits the campaign trail again tomorrow, starting with an event in Nashua at 11:15. Tom?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Joe Biden speaks to supporters in pre-primary campaign swing. Biden says he can't wait to debate President Trump. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Monica Hernandez.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
At a canvass kickoff in Manchester, Joe Biden comparing his experience to that of South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, defending a new campaign ad against the fellow White House contender.
This guy's not a Barack Obama. Barack Obama had been a United States Senator of a really large state. Barack Obama had laid out a clear vision what he thought the international society should look like and what the order should be.
Biden saying Friday he expects to take a hit in New Hampshire after a lackluster showing in Iowa, but says his campaign is far from over.
I've been down before. I've been down politically and personally before. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna, and I've gotten back up. And I'll be damned, though, if I'm gonna go down when the whole country's at stake here. The country is at stake here if Donald Trump gets reelected.
Biden will be on the campaign trail here in New Hampshire all the way through Tuesday's First in the Nation primary. Tomorrow, he'll hold events in Hudson and Hampton. In Manchester, Monica Hernandez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Amy Klobuchar says campaign raised $2 million after the debate. Klobuchar happy with Friday debate performance. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jessica Moran.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
Senator Amy Klobuchar arrives in Hanover Saturday afternoon, riding in on a wave of momentum from Friday night's debate. But she did not go after her Democratic opponents. Instead, she took on President Trump.
He doesn't care about the rule of law. 4 more years of him, the rule of law? Good luck with that. He thinks he's above it. Democracy, he thinks he can bulldoze through it. The American dream, he thinks he can choose who can live it.
After losing time on the campaign trail due to the Senate's impeachment trial of the president, Klobuchar says she is doubling down on New Hampshire. Her goal, to gain traction with the many undecided voters.
She seems to know what's going on. And I think that she's also a person who can unite people.
She's very credible. No teleprompter, no notes. She's genius, and she is magic.
And tomorrow will bring another busy day on the campaign trail for Klobuchar. She has events scheduled in Keene, Rochester, Exeter, and Nashua. Reporting in Hanover, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Backing Bennet. Reagan Cajun Carville says DNC can't control quirky New Hampshire voters. Let's take a listen to that video.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
Democrat Michael Bennet continued pushing his campaign through the state today. The Colorado senator reaching his goal of hosting 50 town halls in the state. He says he will keep going and surpass that mark by Tuesday.
We're going to run through the tape on Tuesday and see what happens. It's been an incredible privilege for me and my family to be in New Hampshire. My wife and my daughters are here this weekend with me, which is going to make it even more special. And I think we'll surprise some people on Tuesday.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. We'll have to wait and see what happens on Tuesday. Tom Steyer says he has experience to defeat President Trump. Steyer's campaign in New Hampshire on Saturday. Let's take a listen to that video.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
Steyer is among the candidates. Spoke at the Our Rights, Our Courts event this morning in Concord, telling voters why he is the best option for New Hampshire. Steyer continued his message from last night's debate that no matter the differences on the issues among the Democrat field, their focus needs to be on beating Donald Trump.
And you have to ask, who can get on the stage with Mr. Trump and take him down? Who can go toe-to-toe? Who knows more than he does?
Steyer says that he is the candidate with 30 years of experience as a businessman that can go up against President Trump.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Deval Patrick says his experience can help Granite Staters. Former Massachusetts governor pushes for votes. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
And also former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick, who was late entering the race, says as he travels the state listening to the issues New Hampshire voters are facing, he believes he has the experience to solve them.
I have results to point to in education and job creation and health care and so on. The very things that are on people's minds and that can meet their needs so that they can help themselves.
Patrick is coming off a 6-day bus tour of New Hampshire that included more than 20 different events.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Andrew Yang talks economy, jobs at town halls across New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We started this campaign because the old style of politics is broken. Our challenges require a new generation of solutions. We are ready for a politics of belonging, boldness, action. Let's turn the page.
His camp tells me that's the trend they've been seeing at his events. Voters showing up curious about the candidate. Yang continued his busy campaign schedule in New Hampshire after the debate with town halls to try to reach out to Granite Staters in these next few days leading up to the primary.
Well, one issue that I've heard about in most every event is the opiate epidemic, where there are so many families that have been torn apart, and we need to do much more for those families. I would decriminalize opiates for personal use, invest in safe consumption sites, and make sure that everyone who is seeking treatment is able to get the kind of resources they need and that money is not a barrier.
I think he's got some great plans. I like his plans to focus on treatment for the opioid crisis that we have here in New Hampshire.
I'm looking for a candidate that's going to bring bigger change, kind of not moving back towards the status quo and getting us to where we got right now.
Well, some voters at the town hall also said they liked his humor, made him seem personable and real. Well, he'll continue his New Hampshire town hall tour with 5 more on Sunday. In the newsroom, Nalko Funema, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we have a busy schedule of candidates that will be campaigning today in New Hampshire. Let's talk about that schedule right now for Sunday, February 9th. Michael Bennet, he has a bunch of events today in New Hampshire. His first event, Berlin Meet and Greet, 1 p.m., 2020, Riverside Drive, Berlin. Dixville Notch Meet and Greet at 3:30 p.m. at 1000 Cold Spring Road, Danville. Littleton Meet and Greet, 6 p.m., 18 Mill Street, Littleton, New Hampshire. Plymouth Meet and Greet at 8 p.m., 17 High Street in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Joe Biden, he has 2 events today in New Hampshire. His first event, Hampton Get Out the Vote event, 12 p.m., Ashworth by the Sea, 295 Ocean Boulevard, Hampton, New Hampshire. Hudson Get Out the Vote event at 3:15 p.m., 200 Derry Road, Hudson, New Hampshire. Pete Budaj, he has a bunch of events today in New Hampshire. His first event, Nashua Get Out the Vote rally at 11:15 a.m. at Elm Street Middle School in Nashua, New Hampshire. He has an event at Dover Get Out the Event rally at 2 p.m. at Dover Middle School. Salem Town Hall, 5 p.m. at Salem High School, 44 Geometry Drive. Londonderry Town Hall, 6:30 p.m. at Londonderry Middle School. Amy Cullenbulcher has 3 events today in New Hampshire. Her first event, Manchester Get Out the Vote event, 1 p.m. Location to be announced. Nashua Get Out the Vote event, 4 p.m. 27 Cleveland Street. Also, Salem Get Out the Vote event at 7 p.m. 206 Main Street. Kelsey Gabbard has 2 events today in New Hampshire. Her first event, Portsmouth Town Hall, 1:30 p.m., 80 Country Club Lane, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Concord Town Hall, 6 p.m., Bank of New Hampshire Stage, 16 South Main Street, Concord, New Hampshire. Deval Patrick, he has 3 events today in New Hampshire. New Hampshire Medical Society, 11 a.m. at 7 North Street, State Street in Concord, New Hampshire. Nashua Canvas Kickoff, 2 p.m., location to be announced. Plymouth State Town Hall, 4:30 p.m., 17 High Street. Bernie Sanders has a bunch of events today in New Hampshire. His first event, Plymouth Get Out the Vote Canvas launch, noon at Forster's Hall in the Common Man Inn, 231 Main Street. Hanover Town Hall, 1:30 p.m., the Grand Ballroom, Hanover in Dartmouth, 2 Willock Street, Hanover, New Hampshire. Claremont Town Hall, 4 p.m. at Stevens High School, 175 Broad Street, Claremont, New Hampshire. Keene Rally, 6:30 p.m., Keene State, 229 Main Street in Keene, New Hampshire. Elizabeth Warren has 2 events today in New Hampshire. Her first event, Concord Get Out the Vote event with Ayanna Presley and Deb Handley in Cape Porter at 12:30 p.m. at 144 South Street. Also, Lebanon Town Hall, 6 p.m. at 195 Hanover Street in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Andrew Yang has a bunch of events today in New Hampshire. Hopkinton Town Hall at 9 a.m. at 330 Main Street. Claremont Town Hall at 11:30 a.m. at 58 Opera House Square. Hanover Town Hall at 1:45 p.m. at 4E Wheelerlock Street. Littleton Town Hall at 4:30 p.m. at 159 Oak Hill Avenue. And Conway Town Hall at 7:30 p.m. at 176 Main Street. And those are all the candidates that will be campaigning around New Hampshire today. 2 service members killed in shootout in Afghanistan. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now to some breaking news overnight. At least 2 U.S. service members killed in Afghanistan in a shootout between soldiers involved in joint military operations. ABC's David Wright joins us from Washington with more. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Eva. This was a shootout between Afghan and American forces in eastern Afghanistan. 2 U.S. soldiers killed, 6 others wounded. The details are sketchy at this point, but here's what we do know. The bloody firefight took place late Saturday in the Nangarhar province in eastern Afghanistan. Apparently an insider attack. The U.S. military says someone wearing an Afghan uniform opened fire with a machine gun on a group of U.S. and Afghan forces. The gunman reportedly killed. The 7th Special Forces Group tweeted several of its soldiers were injured or killed during combat operations in Afghanistan on February 8, 2020. The families of the deceased and wounded are being notified. An Afghan Defense Ministry official claims the attacker was an Afghan army soldier who had argued with the U.S. forces before shooting at them. It's not clear if the gunman was a Taliban infiltrator. The U.S. military is investigating. The motive for this attack still unknown. President Trump talked in the State of the Union about wanting to end America's longest war and bring U.S. troops home. U.S. diplomats have been meeting with the Taliban in recent weeks to that end, but there have been conflicting reports from Afghan officials about the progress they're making. Whit?
All right, David Wright in Washington, our thanks to you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this Sunday edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday morning, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.